Hello and welcome to Amplifier's virtual Giving Circle Quick Start. I'm so glad you're joining us. Giving Circles are a transformative way to build community, learn about issues you care about, and make a difference. These 3 short videos will walk you through the key components of launching your own Giving Circle. But first, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Sasha Raskin-Yin. I'm the Interim Executive Director of Amplifier, powered by the Jewish Federations of North America. Amplifier is an experiential learning lab for collaborative and democratized giving rooted in Jewish values. We envision a world where everyone has the opportunity to create positive, powerful change through collaborative giving. And a big piece of our work is supporting the Jewish Giving Circle movement. So I'm glad you're here to join us and to learn about Giving Circles. The Giving Circle Quick Start process includes 3 videos, of which this is the first, a worksheet for you to follow along and plan your Giving Circle, and access to robust support from Amplifier. During this first video, we'll learn about the Giving Circle movement, explore the basic components of a Giving Circle, understand the importance of values in shaping your experience, and learn about 3 Giving Circles that will function as case studies throughout the Giving Circle Quick Start. The second video covers designing your Giving Circle, including who you will invite, how you'll manage your Giving Circle's finances, how you'll do grant making, and we'll explore scaling appropriately to ensure success. Finally, the third video starts with a discussion of Giving Circle meetings, how many to have and what makes a successful meeting, additional considerations for your organization or federation-based Giving Circles, and best practices for recruitment. You can follow along all 3 videos on your Quick Start worksheet to design your Giving Circle and flag key questions while you watch. Finally, you'll have access to Amplifier's extensive resource library, which includes tools to dive deeper into your Giving Circle design, customize your Giving Circle, incorporate Jewish wisdom, and it includes facilitation guides and giving guides for your meetings. We also encourage you to set up a free consultation call with Amplifier to help as you design or troubleshoot your Giving Circle. So let's dive in by learning more about Giving Circles in general. Giving Circles, like as the broadest possible overview, are a group of people that pool funds and decide together where to give through an intentional process. The number of Giving Circles has grown dramatically over the past 10 years, representing a diverse and powerful movement of over 2,000 circles and 150,000 members. 60% of Giving Circles convene around a shared identity, with women's Giving Circles being the most common. Amplifier represents a network of Jewish Giving Circles, from small groups of friends who meet around their kitchen table to Giving Circles that are independent 501c3s, like the Natan Fund, which founded Amplifier. We work with Giving Circles at Jewish federations and day schools, LGBTQ Jewish Giving Circles on college campuses, and many, many more. Our Giving Circles identify as Jewish in myriad ways, whether they're giving exclusively to Jewish organizations or use Jewish values to inform their giving to any mission-aligned cause or organization. Your Giving Circle will join a global movement and long-lived traditions of collective giving. Collective giving has been used to share resources, support communities, and enact values across cultures from Latin America to the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia. There's a long-standing collective giving tradition in the Jewish world as well, including Landsmannschaften in Eastern Europe and the Yiddish world, on which the federation model is based, and across the Sephardi and Middle Eastern world as well. Maimonides, one of the greatest Jewish scholars who lived in North Africa in the 12th century, wrote, "We have never seen or heard of a Jewish community that does not have a tzedakah fund," where a tzedakah fund is a charity or pooled donation fund to be used for the full community. So let's turn now to the components of Giving Circles. What do Giving Circles do, and how do they do it? What are the basics of a Giving Circle? There are as many different Giving Circles as there are as many different models for Giving Circles as there are Giving Circles. Each one is unique. It's an infinitely customizable tool. What Giving Circles have in common is that they bring a group together and use an intentional process to decide where to give. That includes gathering, having discussions, making a decision, and finally making a gift. It also includes engagement beyond your gift, whether that looks like learning together, sharing about organizations right on your social media with friends or family, building partnerships or community with your grantees, and much more. During today's video, we're going to explore a key discussion point on values, and over the next 2 videos, we'll dig into how and who you will gather, how you'll give, and the various decision points involved. At Amplifier, we've seen the power of giving circles, and we know that they're incredible tools for building communities, bringing groups together, and empowering them to take action. Giving circles build leadership skills like communication, consensus building, self-awareness, advocacy, grant making, and more. They're impactful educational tools, whether that's around Jewish wisdom, a specific cause, or an organization. They can build leadership pipelines, meaningfully engage diverse constituencies in really relational ways, and bring in additional funds from major donors, alumni, and more. In order to have success with your giving circle, there are some key practices that we've seen time and again and recommend including in your giving circle design. The first is a clear and narrow purpose and mission. Know why you're convening, both for yourself and how you'll share that with others as you invite them to join the giving circle and tell the story of your giving circle. This can look like a focus area, right? Where a women's giving circle focused on the needs of local families experiencing poverty, or we're a group of parents giving to projects at our kids' day school that would not otherwise be funded. If you're at an organization, alignment with organizational goals or priorities is key. Giving circles take time and staff capacity. They should help achieve core organizational priorities. While giving circles do bring in money and additional funds, they are much more powerful tools for engagement and leadership development in the interest of fundraising growth over time. We've really seen them transform the community, bring in diverse audiences, and engage donors with increased capacity to give more over time. A clear leadership structure is really key to success for a giving circle, ideally with 2 leaders or chairs. All giving circles should also have a plan to bring in members, which we'll dig into in the 3rd video. And you need to offer your participants a meaningful choice in their grant making. Clear communication is also incredibly important, so your members know what they're getting into, what will be expected of them, if there are any red lines, and so on. Members should know as much as possible at the outset about their obligations and what's expected of them, which is to say how much time and money will be involved. It's also incredibly important for the success of your giving circle. You need your members to know what will be expected of them, if there are any red lines, and so on. Members should know as much as possible at the outset, especially about their obligations, which is to say how much time and money will be involved. If you're at an organization, make sure your fiscal or allocations team is fully looped in advance as well. Finally, make sure community building and fun are at the heart of it. People won't come back to something that wasn't an enjoyable experience. So think about how you'll build in community building, time for some fun, enjoyment, some good food, things like that. And one of the ways to ensure that is to ensure that you're flexible and adapt to the needs of your members when necessary. So let's look at a few examples of giving circles, and we'll come back to these over the course of the next 3 videos. Jewish giving circles look many different ways. So these are just 3 of hundreds of examples that we've worked with. So let's look at a few examples of giving circles in the Jewish world. Jewish giving circles look many different ways. These are just 3 of the hundreds we've worked with. We'll be returning to these giving circles throughout the Quick Start and using them as models for each decision-making point you'll make along the way. For now, I want to point out the specificity of each giving circle in its goals and design. So the first is a giving circle based in New York City. It's Grab Back Giving Circle, which is an independent group of friends focused on gender and women's issues. They're flexible and adapt the focus based on current events and the interest of the group. Second is the Jewish Pride Fund, which is a part of the Jewish Community Federation and Foundation Fund in San Francisco. Their members include a diverse group of LGBTQ Jews, and they support needs at the intersection of LGBTQ and Jewish life in the Bay Area, nationally, and in Israel. Finally, the Portland Jewish Academy is a Jewish giving circle at a day school for parents who fund teachers' projects at the school. Our last topic for today is focused on values. Values are at the heart of Amplifier's work because they're a powerful starting point for community building, for giving, and for Jewish life in general. As I've said a number of times, a giving circle is an intentional process. Often when we give as individuals, we give off the cuff, either because a friend asks or something happens, or we feel otherwise obligated. Our actions, including giving, enact our values. But I know for myself that if there isn't intention at the outset to give from a certain set of values, my giving betrays a different set of values than I would have set for that giving. Values like friendship or efficiency in the use of time, right? I have a time crunch and I need to make a decision, rather than values like hope and human dignity from which I aspire to give. A giving circle is the perfect place to clarify individual giving values and set group values to inform the giving circle grant-making process. It's also an incredibly powerful entry point into the practice of having hard but specific conversations and making decisions so that you can then enact those skills later in the giving circle and in the grant-making process. So we're going to practice together now. In front of you is a totally incomplete list of Jewish values. Take a minute to read through them and consider which values inspire you to start a giving circle. Write down those 1 or 2 values, and you can do this in your giving circle worksheet or on a piece of paper. Consider, what do the values you wrote down look like in practice? What could it inform? How can it inform your giving circle design? I invite you to pause the video to do this exercise. Again, write down the 1 to 2 values that inspire you to start a giving circle, what they look like in practice, and how they can inform your giving circle. When you're ready to join, hit play. Thank you so much for watching this first part of Amplifier's Giving Circle Quick Start. Before going on to the next video, if you haven't done so already, please download the Giving Circle worksheet. It will help you follow along with video 2 as we dive into the design and scale of your giving circle. I look forward to seeing you soon. Hi, welcome back to the second part of Amplifier's virtual Giving Circle Quick Start. I'm so glad you're joining us again. In this video, we'll dive into the nuts and bolts of designing your giving circle and how to scale appropriately. If you haven't done so already, I invite you to download the Giving Circle worksheet so that you can follow along as we walk through the different components of creating a successful giving circle. When designing your giving circle, there are a lot of decisions to make about who the giving circle is for, where you'll meet, how much money each member will contribute, what you'll grant to, and so on. You likely know some of these answers already. We'll offer some best practices and options along the way, but as we said in the last video, there are infinite giving circle models, so make it your own and trust your instincts. The most important part of designing a giving circle is being clear on your goals and using your goals to inform that design. Giving circles should have at least 2 types of goals. The first are your goals for your giving circle members. That can look like what you want your participants to get out of the giving circle experience, whether that's stronger community, learning together, growing their leadership, taking actions as friends, and so on. It can also look like engagement goals for an organization, like meaningfully engaging a new community or deepening the connection with your organization, re-engaging lapsed donors, offering major donors a new pathway for giving, and so on. Your giving circle should also have goals or intentions around your grant making, whether that's a specific funding area, seeding new programs, or if you're a group of friends, it may be about making a bigger grant or ensuring everyone in your circle gives annually. If you're bringing together major donors in a local area, it may be about transforming an issue locally. If your giving circle is at an organization, ensure that your goals are aligned with organizational priorities and goals. Giving circles take time and capacity and must be aligned with organizational priorities to succeed. Giving circles have a proven track record engaging more diverse communities in relational as opposed to transactional ways, growing leadership skills for current and future committee and board members, and offering major donors who have capacity a pathway to give more. Our last video ended on values, and we're going to start your giving circle design in the same place. Again, you can follow along and take notes in your giving circle worksheet. Building values into your giving circle from the start allows you to discuss what is most meaningful to your members in a way that will inform and prep your giving circle members for the higher stakes conversations about grantees and grant making down the line. Time spent connecting over what brings you to the giving circle builds community and alignment. It's a powerful opportunity to infuse some Jewish wisdom into your time together as well. Here's a few ways you can do it, and they're all linked on your worksheet. Amplifier has a program called Giving Panorama, which is a visual and interactive exploration of values, which is available virtually or in person. 2164 has a deck of cards that you can use, or you can create a list of values for your participants to explore on their own. The important thing is to offer your members a list of values to start from and then let them name which values guide them before agreeing on a few values to inform your giving circle. The next set of slides walk you through the design decision points that will inform your giving circle. As we go through, we'll look at examples from the 3 giving circles we featured in the last video. We'll start with people. They're not in any particular order, but we'll start with who your giving circle is for. This is likely informed by our goals. The number of people in giving circles varies from a handful to hundreds. For example, Grab Back Giving Circle has 10 members, the Jewish Pride Fund is in the teens, the Portland Jewish Academy Giving Circle has 20 members, but we also work with giving circles that have over 100 members. At Amplifier, we generally suggest starting small and growing from there. The size of your giving circle will impact the structure, meeting facilitation, and decision-making. For example, if you have more than 20 members, you will likely need committees with everyone coming together for only the biggest decision. Leadership is also a big part of your who. We recommend identifying 2 leaders, either 2 chairs or a staff and a chair, or a staff and 2 chairs. You can and should plan for leadership transitions and for continued recruitment of your membership, as members will have to leave over time. Life will get in the way. Our featured giving circles have a range of structures for their leadership. Grab Back Giving Circle has a rotating set of 3 co-facilitators for every grant making cycle. The Jewish Pride Fund has 2 co-chairs at any time, an incoming and outgoing chair, as well as a staff member. And the Portland Jewish Academy is led by staff. If your giving circle will be held entirely in the hands of staff member, we do also encourage putting everything in writing so that if there are transitions, there's a way to transition seamlessly. Another important design decision for your giving circle centers on money, how much each participant will give, how you'll manage the funds, and how you'll grant them out. You know your audience best. Consult with the leaders of your giving circle about the appropriate amount to ask, which feels meaningful but not onerous. We suggest setting a minimum without a maximum or offering tiers. That way people can give more than the baseline ask, but don't feel obligated to do so. The most important thing is to be clear about the expectations from the outset and to gather money up front. It is not worth chasing people down after the fact. It's really proved a challenge for giving circles over time. Consider also if there are additional funds like a match for your gift, or additional expenses or requirements that can look like paying for food, paying for a fiscal sponsor, or requiring a contribution to an annual campaign or to your organization in addition to the giving circle gift. Again, you'll just want to be upfront about these expectations and build them into the design of your giving circle. Finally, consider how the money will be collected, held, and distributed. If your giving circle is at an organization, you can likely channel funds through the organization. Just make sure your fiscal and allocations teams are on board and able to do so. If you're an independent giving circle, grapevine.org is a great option to manage funds. You can also use Venmo, collect checks, things like that. When it comes to grant making, there are 2 important pieces to your design. The first is ensuring your participants have a meaningful choice in your grant making, since that's what makes it a giving circle. The second is using best practices in grant making to reduce onerous requirements on grantees and build relationships between grant makers and grantees when possible. You can learn more about best practices and specific grant making models by following the links on your giving circle worksheet. Your grant making design should depend on the size of your grant and your goals. And it can range from the informal, like researching organizations online and donating on an organization's website, which is what Grab Back Giving Circle does, to a formal request for proposal process like the Jewish Pride Fund. The Portland Jewish Academy falls in between, inviting any teacher with a project idea to submit a short proposal. Your grant options can be restricted, for example, to programs within your organization or school, like at Portland Jewish Academy, which only funds 2 programs within the school. You can also grant to only existing grantees of your organizations, or your grant options can be very broad, like with the Jewish Pride Fund and Grab Back Giving Circle, which donate to any mission-aligned organization that falls within their focus area. Build in some time for your leaders to vet your grantees and pull out any that don't meet basic requirements for a giving circle before members review them to prevent wasted time. While there are lots of logistics to managing money and setting up grant making, the heart of a giving circle centers on discussions and decision making. Your key to success here is offering your members clarity about the process, what they're responsible for deciding and what will be decided for them, and having a decision process set up and ready to go. That process can range from voting to consensus-based decision making and should be informed by the number of people involved in each decision. For example, if you have a large giving circle, committees may make decisions by consensus, but your final decision, in which everyone has a say, may be a vote. In designing your giving circle, you will also decide how many decision points participants make versus leadership making. You'll need to build in time and process for each decision point your giving circle comes to together, or ensure that your giving circle leaders are in agreement and clear on the things decided in advance. Participants should always select the final grant recipient, but it's up to you whether participants or leadership or committees make the decisions on the mission of the giving circle, the focus area, the grant making process, and the finalists. Consider complex situations in advance, like if you'll need to deal with ties. For example, the Jewish Pride Fund spells out that voting happens at meetings, can be done by proxy, and what happens in case of a tie. Finally, when you're designing your giving circle, it's important to consider scale appropriately. Consider your capacity and start with what's within reach. Amplifier recommends starting small based on the existing skill set and time of your giving circle leaders. Start with one giving circle rather than a giving circle network. Other considerations when it comes to scale includes participants' expectations and setting them appropriately, and the priority of your goals. While giving circles can look like anything from a one-time event to a network of intensive giving circles, again, we recommend starting with one giving circle, and then you can adjust the demands on your time by considering the number of meetings, the complexity of your grant-making process, who else can hold some of the responsibilities, whether that's facilitation, recruitment, or communication. And if you're interested in other models, Amplifier has a series of resources for you as well. For example, if you're interested in a one-time giving circle experience, which we call a pop-up giving circle, you can download our off-the-shelf facilitation guide on the resource section of our website. Thank you so much for watching this second part of Amplifier's Giving Circle Quick Start. I encourage you between this video and the next one to go through the questions on your Giving Circle worksheet and answer them for your own giving circle. And I look forward to seeing you in video 3. Hello and welcome back to the third and final part of Amplifier's virtual Giving Circle Quick Start. I'm so glad you've joined us again. In this video, we'll be diving deeper into Giving Circle meetings, including how many meetings to plan for your Giving Circle and what makes for a great meeting. We will also cover the specificities of giving circles at organizations and Jewish federations and offer tips for recruiting Giving Circle members. Don't forget to download and use the Giving Circle worksheet to help you as you plan your Giving Circle and as you follow along with this presentation. Up to this point, you've learned about designing a Giving Circle, but how often will you want to meet, and what does this look like when you finally have your members gathered in a room? Let's start with the number of meetings. And again, we have examples from our 3 Giving Circle case studies at the bottom of the slides, just as we had in the first 2 videos. Most giving circles meet between 2 and 6 times per giving circle cycle, and will have 1 cycle per year, although with fewer meetings, some giving circles have 2 or even quarterly cycles annually. The number of meetings should depend on your goals, your grant-making process, and the capacity of your giving circle leaders and members. If your goal is to educate or build leadership skills, make sure you have adequate time built in for learning or practicing the skills you want your members to gain. Likewise, a more intensive grant-making process will require more meetings for all members and additional meetings for leaders to vet possible grantees. A request for proposal or RFP process usually requires at least 3 meetings with enough time in between to receive and review proposals. You will need at least 1 meeting to confirm the process and ensure alignment with your members or with your leadership team, 1 to review and narrow applicants, and 1 to review finalists and make a grant. We recommend having the fewest number of meetings possible to accomplish your goals. Leadership will also need to prepare for each meeting and to do some additional work around the grant-making process, as previously mentioned. If your giving circle is big enough to have committees, they will also need to meet between full giving circle meetings, for example, to narrow down grantees or create a docket. Whether your giving circle meets twice or 8 times, your meetings will include building community, reviewing your giving circle logistics, exploring your values, identifying or reviewing your focus area, and engaging in the full arc of your grant-making process. The fewer meetings you have, the less time you'll have for each of these components, but they will all be present regardless. So in a 2 giving circle meeting, you may cover 5 of these topics all at once, whereas in a 6 meeting giving circle, you may be able to dedicate almost a full meeting to each item. We recommend building community time into every single meeting and never forgetting to celebrate and reflect at the end of your giving circle process. While these are the required components of a giving circle, you can also incorporate other experiences into your giving circle, such as learning about your issue area, organization, or grounding in Jewish wisdom, building community and having extra time to socialize, getting involved in your issue areas in other ways like volunteering, advocating, or phone banking, and meeting grantees either as you narrow down finalists or after the fact to build relationship and accountability. These additional experiences add a lot to a giving circle, but we recommend building them in as capacity and interest allow. For example, if members are excited to go to a happy hour together and 2 members are willing to organize their experience, designate them as social chairs and have them plan to do the event independently. Each meeting will likely have a similar overall plan. We recommend making each meeting as interactive and conversational as possible, since the Giving Circle is all about the input of your members. This may look like having built-in time for schmoozing, opening each meeting with an interactive icebreaker, getting to work on your Giving Circle process, and then making sure members leave knowing what's coming next. Meetings should help strengthen your community, include the voices of your members, and have an element of fun. Now let's turn to look at the unique considerations of running giving circles at Jewish organizations and federations. As I mentioned in a previous video, mission alignment is key to giving circle success at an organization. Your giving circle should help you achieve central goals of your work. Giving circles are powerful engagement tools, especially for new or existing constituencies looking for ongoing relational involvement. They're also fantastic tools for building transformational lay leadership skills. As you plan your giving circle, make sure all relevant teams are looped in early. Your finance or allocations teams can help manage funds and let you know from the start what is and isn't possible. The design of your grant-making process and possible grantees will depend on the goals of your giving circle and the requirements of your organization. Grant-making can range from any mission-aligned organization or program, which is, for example, the model of the Jewish Pride Fund, to existing. Grant-making can also go to existing grantees or partners, or even be limited to in-house programs only, as is the model for the Portland Jewish Academy's Giving Circle. Whatever your approach, be clear with your participants what the parameters are, and whether there are any red lines that they should not cross. There's also a range of approaches to requiring donations to the organization. Some giving circles only recruit from members who are already given minimum gifts to the organizations. Some giving circles pull a fee from the giving circle contribution that functions as a donation to the organization or covers the cost of the giving circle operation. Others do not require a contribution at all. The Jewish Pride Fund allows grants to any mission-aligned organization. It encourages but does not require a donation to the Federation's annual campaign and/or the broader Jewish community. Meanwhile, the Portland Jewish Academy Giving Circle grants only to internal projects proposed by teachers and staff and recruits from existing or potential donors. Jewish federations have their own specific requirements around the annual campaign, which ranges considerably from one federation to the next. Depending on your federation's requirements, you may consider only inviting existing donors above a certain level. This can help energize donors who have plateaued in their giving or their excitement about federation, or for donors who want to be able to give designated gifts. On the other hand, you can also require a donation to the annual campaign in addition to a giving circle gift, which is one of the more common models we see across federations. Finally, as with the Jewish Pride Fund, you can have no requirements regarding the annual campaign and count your giving circle donation as a part of your total FRG. If designated gifts are simply a no-go at your federation, consider a one-time giving circle event called a pop-up giving circle. An event registration fee can become a limited grant pool for your pop-up event. To learn more, download our pop-up giving circle facilitation guide in the resource section of our website. Finally, let's look at some recruitment best practices. Recruitment can be a real challenge for giving circles, so it's important to start with measured goals and grow after you have a successful model in place. Intentional giving circle design, as we reviewed in the first video of the Giving Circle Quick Start, makes for a smooth recruitment process. Your well-defined mission and clarity of focus will help inform you as you are inviting and generating excitement among participants. Your giving circle is not for everyone. A clear focus will help members understand why you're inviting them, what they'll gain from the process. As you recruit members, be succinct and clear in explaining what a giving circle is, how participants will be involved, and what they will get from the experience, whether that's community, new leadership opportunities, professional growth, and more. To help ensure the success of your recruitment process, make sure your chairs or leaders play an active role. Give them the talking points to support and invite their friends or broader community. As with all asks, ensure that they are personal and ask more people than you will need. Many people won't be able to join for timing or interest reasons, but if your asks are personalized, clear, and take place in one-on-one conversations, you're far more likely to get a yes. Finally, it can be helpful to invite people to a meeting rather than a full Giving Circle process, especially if they're unsure. Your first Giving Circle meeting can be a cross between an info session and a first meeting of your Giving Circle, with an invitation to stay for the rest of the experience and make a contribution at the end of that meeting. Thank you so much for joining Amplifier for all 3 of our Giving Circle Quick Start videos. Now that you've completed the videos, we encourage you to finish filling out your Giving Circle worksheet and launch your Giving Circle. We have a wealth of resources available on our website, www.amplifiergiving.org, that can help you plan, launch, facilitate, and run your Giving Circle. Check out the resource section for everything you need, or fill out the Contact Us form to schedule a consultation. Before you go, please share your feedback on this 3-part Giving Circle Quick Start by filling out the survey linked below or by holding your phone up to the QR code on the screen. Thank you so much for joining us. We can't wait for you to start your Giving Circle and to hear how it goes. Please be in touch. Thanks.